there's basically two ways you can test for lead-based paint. And now remember, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can test for lead-based paint in your rental properties. One of them is using a certified inspection or risk assessment company. And here it is, the link over to the EPA. If you guys want me to post this here in the chat, let me know. And you can, let's say, like, for example, one of my properties in Blue Island was built in 1888. I can only imagine there was a lot of lead in that property, lead-based paint in that property. So maybe somebody like me might want to do it. Or if your tenant contacts you for whatever reason, you really want a professional test, you can use these professional companies. If you don't, you can just buy one of these kits at the home improvement stores. And there's two different types of paint kits there. This one gives you some instant results. There's like this little swab, and Hadi's going to show you a little bit picture and show you a little bit better. There's these little swabs, and then instantly it'll give you the results. Or there's a little bit more sophisticated ones that you have to send it in, and they'll give you the results in about 30 days or so. And then if you really are interested, there are also some kits that will allow you to test the water, but we're not talking about the water here in this presentation, since we said this is more the purview of the cities. But if you're curious, you can also test there for the water. I think I'm gonna turn it over to you now, Hadi, and then you can continue talking about the testing, since I know you had that in yours. Alrighty, go ahead, and then if you want me to, I can just advance the slides.
Okay, so there's 1,000 different ways to do this. So this is our way. Okay, we do it on the first opportunity in every property that we manage. So if a new property comes for management, we won't necessarily do it while the tenant is there, but on the first vacancy, we do that. On this one, you get from Amazon, you get like 30 swabs, a little bit of vinegar. You get to test. It's pretty reliable. If you want to do that, your own house, so you learn for your rental. Next slide.
So question, that's interesting. So you do test for every single one of your rentals built before 1978, or just all of them?
All of them.
All of them. Interesting. Just for an FYI, right? So that way, if there is a lead hazard present, you're going to take care of it, and there's no danger of it appearing later on, I imagine.
Yeah. So there's there's a couple of ways this lead contamination comes. So if your house was built prior to 1978, or the older it is in-house already. So you have it in your paint, on your in your woodwork, is there. After 1978, the houses that were built, it arrives at your property. You walk on the street, you get on your jacket, you go buy stickers from Walmart that contain lead in it, you bring it in your house. Now the house tests positive for lead. For the lead dust, it comes negative on XRF machine, but then test positive for the dust of it. If your tenant work in aviation, in certain like what they call metal fabrication, his jacket, his work clothes carries lead in it already. Brings it to your brand new home. Now your house is contaminated.
Wow, that's really good to know. I never would have thought to test the rental properties beforehand. So that's a really good tip. All of us should follow then.
Yeah, you should follow it. And on the newer houses that was built in 1978, it's not a big deal. It's just the lead dust. You go, you look at the property, you say, oh, this is ready, and you rent it to the next person the way it is. Minimum, you need to wipe down with a damp cloth or something like this all the surfaces, including the top of your casings, on top of the door, top of the what do you call it?
I think you have a slide for that in a little bit.
So do that. Okay, next slide. This one is an XRF machine. It's a $35,000 machine or something like that.
This little thing?
This little thing, yeah.
Holy!
Buy one, it's $28,000, something like that. But it doesn't show the rest of the gadget. And then the rented is $600. Okay, it reads the the amount of, it reads the thickness of the paint, and it gives you a reading that the paint underneath it is how much lead it contains. So it gives you a reading of like 1 to like 9. 9 is your surface have lead in it. 1 is there, but it's buried in layers and layers of paint.
Hmm.
It depends. Your 1950 house might not even test positive on XRF machine for lead. The building I sent you for that lead inspection,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at it, he was negative on XRF. What it means is this apartment he painted between the tenants, so you have 20 layers of paint in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't show up on XRF machine. He got failed for the dust that it wasn't cleaned.
Wow.
So this XRF machine might pass you for the lead, but then that little swab thing will fail you for the dust that is sitting on the surface of that window sill.
So do you do both tests in yours, the swabs and this XRF?
No, we don't do XRF machines. It's a very expensive
I
test,
was gonna say.
necessary. Most of the houses are that have been rental for a long time, been painted over and over again, so it's unnecessary. But the lead dust thing you should do.
Diane asked if we can rent the XRF machine.
Yeah, about $500 a day. I was involved on 3 cases that end up because when you get a failed inspection especially from Cook County, you get a failed inspection from Cook County, and then even after you remediate and the Cook County come and pass you, now an attorney will show up and claim lifetime disability for the child.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't have insurance on it. Now you got to go through this litigation and settle with a child, the one that the landlord had to pay. Basically, they settle for the value of the LLC.
Wow. This
They
is why
settle for the value of
it's so important for us to not run into these lead-based issues because they can be very costly.
Yeah, no, but the child had mental development, and
Mhm.
the child was around 6 years old and was in this property for only 1 year. I probably got it from someplace else, but there was no proof of it, and it was getting expensive, and he had to continuously pay legal fees out of his pocket.
Yeah.
And he had only like about $75,000 equity on that LLC, so he just surrendered.
Wow. Oops. All right, let me go to the next one then.
Okay, so I did this so you understand how minute this is. So macrogram per square foot. So macrogram is 1/1000th of 1 gram for a square foot. Okay, it's very minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 10 microgram. The reason I did this is acceptable level. EPA current standards is 10 for the floor and 100 for the window cells. They understand that window cell is the culvert. All the dust collects on that window cell behind those curtains.
Hmm.
So they give you a little bit more, right? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the reason is like this is because 100% of the, not 100% of the time, I can't be that certain, but majority of time, if you're going to test positive for the dust, you're going to test positive on your windowsill.
Okay.
So wipe down the window cells, right?
Yep. Easy solution.
Use the solution with a damp cloth, wipe down the solution. Again, next one. Okay. This is a lead blocker. So it encapsulates paint. On a normal, we don't use this unless we have a lot of visible cracks on the walls. So if you have a visible cracks on the walls, you can plaster it and sand it and then repaint it. Won't do. It will glow on the XRF machine. This thing will put a thick layer of paint on it. It still glows on XRF machine, but a lot less. Lot less. And it's like $60-$70 a gallon. Okay.
And then you can buy this at Home Depot, Menards?
Yeah, we can buy it in Menards. Or I have a paint program with Home Depot. We buy it from Home Depot.
Okay.
They come with many different names. It's just a very thick paint. That's all it is. Okay. So why you fail on inspection? Painted surfaces, you fail because the XRF machine showed something. Okay. So where you fail on, you don't fail on the living room, especially if you know that you have had this property for 20 years and you're on number 6 tenant and you have painted every time. You have 6 layers of paints on the living room. Where you fail is on the really nice woodwork that you have, what you call a cherry or mahogany woodwork. You fail on that because the stains back then had lead in them. Okay. You will fail inside your closets because most individuals, they don't paint their closets. So the painted surfaces, the XRF machine, you will fail in the closets, behind the refrigerator, things like this. Okay.
So if the moldings stains have the lead in there, how do you prevent that? Because a lot of us, like me, we don't want to paint the beautiful moldings.
You can put one coat of what you call it, polyurethane on it, and hopefully it will stick, and that's it.
Oh, so as long as they have the poly on them, they should be okay.
No, it still will not grow. See, when you get to the report, when you look at it, the XRF machine, if you show that worksheet that the inspector did, it had a reading, but he marked it acceptable.
I see.
So on the wall that you have 6 layers of paints, it will show some sort of reading. It will tell you acceptable, right? Now, on your woodwork, it might say some reading and he calls it too high, then you fail on your woodwork.
I see.
Okay.
Well, I've never tested my 1888 Victorian, and I'm not about to because I'll be scared what it'll show up there.
The 75 cent, that $12 test, make sure you wipe it down very, very well and then use the swab, see if you got reactive. If you got reactive, you will fail anyway. So on the next opportunity, put another coat of polyurethane on it. Let it dry up for about a month. Do it to see if you're going to get reactive. Some inspectors are more strict than some other inspectors. When they walk into the house, they have a choice of where they're using their dust swabs. They have a choice of using it straight on a wall that you're going to get negative, or he can be pesky and use it on top of the door that is dusty. Then you get positive. It's his choice what he's going to test.
Speaking about testing areas, Suni had a comment in the chat. He says you're forgetting about the interiors of windows. I don't think you're forgetting about it because you mentioned the window sills, but what about the rest of the interior of the window?
Okay, so if you have what do you call it, old windows, you're definitely positive big time. Okay, but if you have a new vinyl windows, you just got to learn to wipe down everything, right? Okay, and I had this been some years, but one of my creative rent-ready guys, he used a leaf blower once on all the windows. But it's not the correct way to do because you airborne all the contaminant noise all over the house.
Oh my gosh. Yep. So thank you, Suni, for pointing that out because especially some of those older houses that have the original wood windows, that is going to be another really high hazard area for the lead.
Yeah, every time we had this thing it was always the windowsill and the windows.
That's one
Always.
reason why I don't have any old windows. I mean, for insulation purposes, for ease of operation, and then for the lead, I just don't take the chance. I remove all the old windows.
Yeah, let does the swab test will tell you if you are clean enough, and it's as simple as that. You can use a regular shop vac and buy a HEPA filter for it for Amazon, and then use a damp cloth and wipe down everything, vacuum everything. Top of wherever the dust can settle. So in the middle of the living room, you're not going to get that much reading because you keep walking on it, and I'm sure you mopped it and all of that. But the top of your door, top of the woodwork, casing on the windows, things like that, you're probably going to come positive. Inside the closet, behind the door, things like that, and just wipe it down, it will be good, okay? And if you have cracks, you're definitely going to have an issue. You need to do some sort of encapsulating method on it.
Okay. Since Suni pointed out, rightfully so, we maybe should put like the old windows or the inside of the windows here too.
Oh yeah. Windows 3 times by now. 3 times by now. Yeah, 3 times. We end up
Okay.
some sort of settlement with the family of the child. Every time was the windows.
Oh. Hold on a second. Got a check thing here. Lisa was saying, do you wipe down with vinegar or water?
Just the regular water.
Oh, okay.
You're not cleaning, you're just dedusting.
So in the course of our normal cleaning, though, in between tenants, we should be taking care of this. I mean, I would hope landlords are cleaning in between tenants, but if you're not, then you're running the risk. But normal in between tenant cleaning should take care of it.
And hopefully the tenant is diligent enough that once in a while they do dusting themselves. You know what I'm talking about? So some individuals, they never dust, but they don't have a small children either, okay? And then they're there 1 or 2 years and you already did it. It doesn't take a week to accumulate in a positive read. It takes years to get there. How many years? I don't know. But it's not something that the tenant moved in and then next week you're gonna fail that test.
That's
You
good to
don't.
know. Okay.
It takes a long time to build to that level, and hopefully, if the tenant is gone by 2 years, then you have. It's not a big deal. If they don't have a child under 6 years of age, right? 6 years of age, there's no mandatory testing. They don't come up high. You don't get visited for testing. Okay.
Okay.